Urban Lab.
Hi, and welcome back. On our last session, we talked about models. We talk about models and we say that they are simplified representations of a reality, and by using them, they can help us understand it better. When we make experiments with models, we are doing a simulation. I'm going to talk about now about a special type of models called agent-based models. I'm going to do an oversimplification maybe for the benefit of this explication, and I'm going to use the example of a theater play. As we all know, a theater play has a script that prior to the beginning of a theater play, it lays all the way how a play is going to develop and what is going to be the ending. Now, try to imagine a theater play that has no script. What is going to be the ending? Imagine that all the actors have autonomy to act as they wish according to some goals that they are interested in achieving and just following certain rules. For example, in the case of the play of Romeo and Juliet, we all know the story. It's a romantic tragedy of two young lovers set in Italy. They belong to two conflicting families. And by the script, we all know right now, before even you and me attending any theater play of Romeo and Juliet, that they both are going to die at the end. It's a tragedy. Now try to imagine that there is no script. Try to imagine that all the actors are actively thinking how to achieve their goals and just following some rules. Imagine the scene in which Romeo is challenged by a sword fight by Count Paris. Count Paris always wanted the love also of Juliet. By the script, we know that, well, Romeo wins. But what could happen if we don't have any script, and by constantly observing Romeo play after play after play, because we can say that a play ends with a particular ending, and then another play and another play and another play, and by constantly observing Count Paris how Romeo fights and handles the sword and how he moves, maybe he can find a way to defeat him, because he learns by observing Romeo and the environment. What could be the ending right now? We don't know. Let's go back to the known ending of Romeo and Juliet, in which they both die. Juliet drinks a potion that makes her look like she's dead, but she only sleeps. But Romeo doesn't take that into account. He believes that Juliet is dead. So when Romeo arrives to the crib, he sees Juliet dead, and well, he's surprised and he's very sad, and he kills himself. Juliet awakes as planned, and what a surprise! She sees Romeo dead at her feet. And also she's surprised, she's very sad. She takes the dagger of Romeo and stabs it in her own heart, and she dies. They both die. But now, take back this and think of this unscripted play. What could be the endings? Maybe both actors, after repeating the play once and again and again and again and again, they finally, in some moment, discover a way to achieve their own goals, that is to be happily together and get married. Maybe it's a thing of luck combined with learning about how the theater evolves in time by observing all the other actors, what things they can do, what they cannot do, etc. And finally, they can find a way to achieve their own goals. Now try to imagine that we could see a theater play time after time after time after time after time, again and again and again, and we could chart the results. We could chart what type of endings result and how many times these endings happens. We could have a chart in which maybe the most likely ending to us is the one in which Romeo and Juliet are happy forever and ever, but maybe surely we were going to have another type of endings, like the most known, in which they both die, and even some different and surprising ones. Surprising in the sense that we didn't expect that they could happen. This is a discovery of the play of Romeo and Juliet. We're discovering some things we never thought of about. Maybe Romeo and Juliet, they fight at the end and they separate. And well, that's the end. Maybe in another end, Romeo dies and Juliet lives. Or maybe by observing Juliet how the play is evolving, for her own benefit, she becomes a nun, a religious person. Maybe she thinks, I don't want any more troubles. I don't want to know nothing about Romeo, nothing about Count Paris, and I'm going to become myself a nun. That is a surprising ending. That is a discovery. So we have a liking for a certain type of ending. So what can we do to induce that type of ending? Surely by observing a play and another play and another play and another play, I almost guarantee you that we are going to learn a lot about what is going to happen and what is happening on that play. Surely we're going to learn about Italy. We're going to learn about how both families in conflict act and react, and we can even know their own interests. We can learn a lot about Paris. We can learn about Juliet. We can learn about Count Paris. We learn about it. And by this learning and by observing all these results, we surely can even predict, according to what have been previously seen, what could be the future results of new plays. So this is very important. Imagine that we can do this in our own computer about theater plays of our own interests. Think about an interest that you have about the city and conceive it as a play, as a theater play, with actors, a stage, and with interactions. Imagine that you can repeat once and again and again and again and again and again all these interactions, and each time having different results. And in this process, learn about the city and even predict what could happen. And even by designing the rules of which the actors must play, even by doing only that, we can learn about the city. We go along with the play, observe the results, and then compare the results with what is happening with not in the stage, but in the real thing that is representative. Remember that a theater play is a simplified representation of a reality with just enough actors to play it. So we have arrived to a very important point. We are talking about the basic elements of agent-based models. An agent-based model is a representation of actors and a stage and interactions, or as they are called, agents, an environment, and interactions. And the basic building block of an agent-based model are agents, with the following characteristics. First, they can make their own decisions. There is no theater play director telling them what to do. You give them the rules and you just let them go. This is very interesting because by this logic, you don't know priorly what is going to be the final results. They behave according to certain rules that we give them. They don't know everything about everything that is happening around them. They have a bounded rationality. They don't know what the other agents are thinking, or they can only perceive certain things about their environment, but not all of them. And that is what happens in real life with all of us. They move in explicit space, especially in urban models, and they are very different types of agents. We can talk about animals, that is one type of agent. We can talk about people, but we can also think of agents as things that they are not only alive. So we can say that an agent not only has autonomy to make a decision, but they can also react. So we can talk about agents not only about living things. In an urban model, we can say that an agent is a land use that reacts when new infrastructure is built near them. And how they react? Well, one reaction can be that the land value goes up. And of course, and this is very important, we can talk about those actors that make the city. And that is the next topic that we're going to talk about in our next session. Thank you very much.